Welcome everyone, this is the new update that got released from Electroblob. It's version 4.3.3 and this update is a major update. It changes how all the sets of armors works. So, we all know how to make a normal set of armors, but I'll just go through it one more time. So you will need some magical silk using some strings and crystal, and taking that magical silk and formatting it into making a normal Minecraft armor. Any piece will make you your first magical armor, wizard armor. So this is gonna be your first, okay? So the next thing which didn't change is the armor to elements. So you can just simply get any piece of armor, put it on the altar, and get any dust and just put it in each side, and that will turn it into this magical armor. Okay, so it will take time and it will switch and it will become that element. So we know that, so each set of these armors will have 13 armor. That's the total. That's like an iron armor, and they have a passive. So let's just talk about that passive. So I'm gonna take a set right here. Let me just remove that. Okay, give me that last part. So I'll wear the full set. So the set, it looks the same, it didn't change. So but what changed is the passive that you get. So you get negative 10% fire cost. It used to be higher than that. I think it was 15 or from 15 to 20. That's the first thing. Second change is that we had something called the arcane seal of protection, which transferred this armor into a legendary armor. Now that changed. What we have is now a new 3 different upgrades. So let's get to the 3 different upgrades. Let me just wear that here and just move it from my hand. Okay, so the first upgrade is the thread. So let's just try this upgrade. So what you will need is a normal wizard robe and the thread. Go to your arcane workbench, put your thread with the rope and just upgrade, and that will give you your sage robes. So this is the first set. So that's the sage robe. So you can take the sage robe and go back to your altar, for example, put the sage robe, and using the dust each side, that will turn it into an elemental armor, which will give you a buff. So we'll just compare both of them. So this one will give you the only passive that you get from the sage robe, which is 20% other element cost. So all of the elements will have a 20% negative cost if you wear a full set. Now if you turn it into an elemental one, you will get 20% fire cost. So they just compare all 3 here, but a normal armor will give you 10%. So it's really good. So let's say that you already made your elemental robe. There is no problem. So you take the elemental robe and get a thread, go to your arcane workbench and upgrade it, and that will upgrade your robe. So you will have that. So let's just look at all of those. So looking at all of these, that will make you your sage armor, and they have 16 armor. So that's less than a diamond armor. And let's take one full set of that armor. Okay, so if I wear one full set here, let me take that armor off and put that, I will get that passive. So I'll have that passive always, which is 20% elemental cost. If I take a pyro sage armor, for example, let's take the boot and the helmet. Okay, remove all of that and put these on. That will give me 2 passives. So now I have the 20% fire cost on each piece, and I get the 20% elemental cost. Okay, so that's the first armor, which is the sage armor, and let me show you how it looks like. Looks very cool. Sage armor. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's go to the second upgrade. So the second upgrade we have here is the crystal silver plating, and you can just, so they all work the same way. So take your crystal with a rope, and it will turn into your battlemage armor. Okay, so I'll take that here, and I want to show you something here and put that here, and that will give you you can just upgrade it normally to a fire battle cast. So taking all of these armors, so you see here, you will have those, you can just make it into 80 element. So you have your normal set of armor, and that will give you 20 armor. So that's like a diamond armor in defense. So let's just take all of these. Let me throw that here and okay. So if I take a full armor from it, and that one will be a bit obvious. So you will have a full set of armor, which will give you each piece will give you negative 40% cooldown. And I'll get into something really important. So but let's just talk about the passive. So if you wear a full set, you get ward 1 effect. So ward 1 effect, if you're not familiar, this is an effect that only gets from Electroblob, and that will reduce the income damage that you take from magic spells. So if you get a different armor like the pyro armor, for example, let me just take the helmet. Okay, take that off, put that armor here, and that's how a battle armor would look like. It's so cool. So let's just look at the passive. So you get here a 50% cooldown negative and a negative fire cost. So you get 2 passives. So this is lower in the cooldown, but it gives you a cost benefit, and you get the ward effect. And the most important thing, it has the highest armor in all of the sets. So let me just clear everything. Okay, last thing is the warlock armor, and to do that you will need a crystal wave. And let's just do the same thing just to understand. So you get the warlock robes. The warlock robes will have the full set, will have 20% mover speed, and you have negative 30% cooldown. That's a lot of cooldown. So let's just try that on a normal fire robe, for example, and that will have 10% fire cost and negative 30% cooldown, and plus the 20% move speed. So let's just take a full set here. So let me just put that full set, and let me take a full set of pyro, for example. Okay, so we have the 2 full sets. Let me wear the first set. Okay, so that first set. So if you noticed, I am way faster. Just by wearing it, you're a lot faster. So you're 20% have mover speed, and you get the 30% cooldown. Okay, last thing I wanna do is wear this robe. This is the pyro. So you get negative 10% fire cost and negative 30% cooldown, and the 20 move speed. So overall you have different things. So you have, for example, the battle one, that's a more of like a fighting one, face to face. The warlock one, that's like, oh, you're gonna deal more damage because you're gonna use abilities more, but it has the lowest armor, which is 13. And the sage one is like the normal meta one. It has decent between both of the armors, and gives you the most cooldown. So let's just do an overlord comparison between all of them. So I'll get a chest plate from each part. So this is the normal one. So this is an armor from the warlock, and just put that here. Okay, and I want the battle armor. Give me that. And the last thing is this one. So pyro, sage, and the warlock. So these are the different. So we'll go one by one. So the first one will give you normal 5 armor. Okay, the second one, when you make it into an element, it gives you the 5 armor and the 10% fire cost. Okay, the then you go to the 3 different upgrades. So you no longer have the normal upgrade, which is the arcane seal of protection. You have those 3 different upgrades. So the first upgrade will be the sage one, which will give you the full set, will have negative cost in your overall cost for spells. That's for every spell, that's for every element. So this is not just specifying to one element, that's all elements. Plus it gives you 20% cost negative just because wearing the armor. So that's the highest in cost. So this generally just a cost one. If you don't want to use a lot of mana, or you want to concentrate on using so many spells, that will be your best thing to do. Second thing, second one is the battle mage. So the battle mage will have only negative 5% cost, but it gives you 15% cooldown. So it's higher, so it gives you cooldown and cost. And the last thing is the ward effect, and overall it has the highest armor. Okay. Last one is the warlock, which will have the lowest armor of all of the sets. It's equal to a normal wither set, but it will have the highest cooldown, and the highest and the mid cost. So it's higher than the battle and the cost, but not as cost as the pyro, but it's the highest in cooldown. And the last thing, it gives you full it gives a full set will give you movement speed. So I tried the cooldown thingy. I don't really understand for until now how they're calculating the cooldown, because if a warlock armor, let me just wear a full warlock armor for a second. Okay, so a warlock armor will give you negative 30% cooldown. So does that mean that I get 100? Does that mean I get negative 30 for each? If that's so, that means that they make it a negative 30, but they have a different like calculation for it or something. They didn't reveal that much about how they calculate things yet, but it's overall. You have the warlock is for cooldown, and it's just basically the most aggressive one. The battle is the tankiest one, and the sage is the most like effective one to save more mana. And the reason mana now is more useful is one thing. So you have, we all know how to make like mana, but we have a mana flask. So a mana flask now is a bit different. So first of all, it takes more time to use it, to use a mana flask. So let me just go to survival. Okay, so in survival, I want to get a wand. And here, let me have any wand. And I want to put any spells on it just to use it. So we'll just use any spell, doesn't matter. Okay. I don't understand the spell. That will be a bit annoying. Okay, let's just get a scroll of identification. Understand that spell immediately. Oh, it's the worst spell I could pick. Okay. Let's just remove that wither. Okay, so if I, for example, use a spell like this, so that costed a bit of mana, right? If I want to use the largest one, you see it takes time for me to actually drink it. Yeah, back then it was a lot faster. So the higher the flask is, the more time it will take to drink it, right? So that's a bit harder for you. And also a mana flask now, so if I show you something here, so the mana flask, the medium one, gives you less mana, which is 350, but you can craft it with less crystals. So you can craft it with just normal magic crystals. You can use the big ones, but that's really a waste. So if you use just normal crystals. And the last one is the large one, which you can only make it using grand magic crystals now. And that one will give you the highest, which is 140 mana. So that's the new update. Overall, it's just a great update, and it gives you so many different armors to just change the way you play the game, and just you have your own way. So now not everyone will have the same armor, not everyone will have the same passive, just everyone can do whatever they feel like they want to do. So that's it for this new update. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.